Guys, welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free and it really helps motivate the channel, keep us going with some cool new stuff. Anyways, check out this video. At SEMA this year, I had the opportunity to interview Eric from ProCharger. You know, we've been thinking about getting a new supercharger for the truck. I've got some ideas which way I want to go. I'm pretty close to making a decision, but I did want to talk to at least one other company, and I'll tell you, Eric's got some really good input, some really good insights. He owns his own Gladiator, has, of course, a ProCharger installed, and really went over some really good information. So check it out. Also, during the video, some idiot steps in front of the camera. It's kind of entertaining because I had to yell at him. I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm here with Eric from ProCharger. As you know, we've done several videos on superchargers, the benefits of them, the drawbacks of them. Are they right for your vehicle? Are they not? And so Eric, tell me a little bit about ProCharger.
ProCharger, we're based out of Kansas City for manufacturing. Everything we do is in the USA. I mean, like everything.
Design, build.
Everything. I mean, raw material comes into our facility in Lenexa, Kansas, comes in as bar stock, round stock, all that. Our whole machine shop carves it out, makes these build impellers. Our volutes are casted off-site, however, still here in the United States. Same with intercoolers. All of our intercoolers are done right here. So we're kind of unique in that aspect. We're pretty proud of it. But yeah, we've been here for 30 years making centrifugal superchargers. So there's obviously a couple different versions of superchargers out on the internet.
For sure.
It sounds like you're very versed in those as well.
We've talked to several other companies about it, and I know specifically what we focus on is Jeep Wrangler, Jeep Gladiator, so forth. And we talked about a couple of different pros and cons. Some of the reasons you would want a supercharger, and I know a lot of the comments that we get is, I want one just because it's cool. Well, that's all fine and good, but realistically, what is the biggest benefit? What is a supercharger going to do for me as a person with a Jeep Gladiator or Wrangler who's going to be going overlanding or off-roading and that kind of thing?
So there's technically three things, because I had one, so it was a pretty easy.
Which one do you have?
I can talk about Gladiator. Yeah.
Nice.
So, number one, when you add anything, every single time I added something, you're adding weight, right? I mean, rock bars, this, that, bigger wheels, bigger tires. I mean, about the only thing that didn't add weight was a gear change. But other than that, every single thing is weight. So when you would drive it, I mean, I don't know where you're at, but our highway, 70 miles an hour means 80. So you know how it is. Like, it's a good sized truck with a fairly small motor. So having a supercharger, obviously the pedal feels like the motor is now, like 50% bigger than it was.
Hey, can you give me a break? Yeah. Like, seriously, what the fuck? Sorry, yeah. I got to do that all the time.
Yeah.
All right. So you were saying, again, start back from about the power.
Okay. So really the power of a supercharger is going to give someone three different things. Number one, it's going to make it feel lighter and more nimble when you're daily driving. Every single time you turn that key, it's going to feel like the motor's 50% bigger than it was, because you're going to be, the misconception is that you need like 8 pounds of boost to feel something. Your biggest gain is 1 pound of boost. That's when you overcome the engine's pumping losses. And the way a centrifugal actually works really well is that you don't want to cram a ton of boost at a very low RPM if the motor and cam was not designed to do it.
You end up just over torquing everything.
A lot of stress on parts. That being said, the Pentastar was designed for boost, which I don't know if a lot of people know that. It was originally designed to be a boosted motor that for various reasons, emissions reasons and all that, they ended up making it NA. So the cams are still designed for naturally aspirated stuff.
I know we're getting into some designing and engineering. Yeah. Probably some stuff people might think is boring, but a lot of people think is really interesting. What is it about the cams that they do for a boosted engine?
Like the overlap, how the VVT settings are, the way the cams move. Again, when an OEM builds an engine, it has to make power because we all want it. But the main thing is it has to pass emissions.
Yeah.
That is it. So with a boosted motor, you can actually have like a little slightly lesser cam profile. Mm-hmm. So that way it's easier for them to pass emissions because they're going to be forcing air down the engine.
Gotcha.
When it's actually aspirated, the engine has to do it itself.
Makes sense.
But all of that being said, because we kind of went down a rabbit hole, when we do the kits and we take all the time with the tuning, we work that out to not only make the most power with boost, we also try to optimize the cam position to, at a down low RPM, enhance the motor's ability to use that airflow that it couldn't before. But so daily driving, it's awesome to have a supercharger. Then there's towing. There's actually quite a bit of my friends tow like a smaller trailer behind theirs, and that is the biggest because it stops the hunting, where it's like gear change, and constantly, because you guys got there's 8 gears to choose from. By having that extra amount of power at like a moderate throttle, it doesn't have to downshift.
And it's all that torque, not horsepower, that we're utilizing.
Yeah, it's like the combination of both, So again, the motor by nature is not really a low RPM motor. And you've driven it. Like it wants to be at like 3,000 RPM. That's its happy spot, and in between. It goes lower because of emissions. Like air in is air out. So the best thing is to obviously gear it correctly so it's not lugging the thing down like crazy. And then last thing, trails. I loved it. I love having boost on a trail vehicle. I can't imagine not having it. However, I don't rely on it. It's more of a, let's say I got a huge grade and I lose traction, and it's that last minute where you're like, oh dang, bam, slam it down, let it eat the tires, and I know it's like having a V8. I have that, like I said, like that 50 to 60% more power all the time.
So let's talk about your kit that you have for the Wrangler and the Jeep.
Yes.
I know some other kits that are out there.
Yep.
They pretty much come complete. Typically they tell you it's a 2 or 3 day bolt-on scenario. Is the same thing with yours? You guys have instruction videos, all that kind of stuff?
I actually have an awesome story. My girlfriend put it on in our garage because she's like new to cars and she's so excited, and it's so fun to watch.
Everybody's gonna want to know your girlfriend's name and location. It's my wife ain't doing that.
It's fun to watch her learn, and she read every line on the instructions word for word, because we have these full color instructions that tell you. Let's say you're taking off the alternator. Well, the alternator, if you've ever done it, is actually multiple size bolts.
Right.
Why they did that, I don't know, but that's what they did. So in the manual it says like use a 14 millimeter ratchet on this and a 15 millimeter on this. So you can go to the toolbox, grab your 14 and 15, come back and unbolt it. You're not like, I don't know what this is, and you're running back and forth, which saves time. There's no, so the blower sits right where the alternator was.
Relocate the alternator?
Yep, the alternator gets relocated. We get you brackets, plug and play wiring harness. So there's nothing, you're not doing any wiring or soldering or any of that. You unplug the alternator, it goes down there, we give you an extension, it plugs in into the factory stuff.
Gotcha.
The other good part is we're air-to-air intercooled. No pumps to wire, no coolant to put in it, nothing. You pop out the grill, bolts in the intercooler.
So, and just to be clear, so what that means is we don't have to worry about fluid. It's not a water cooled. Of course, people are going to say, well, the difference is water cooled is going to work better. Because I assume that you guys have it already all engineered for what it needs to cool, and we're good.
I mean, so there are a lot of people that sell our kits, and they're from shops and off-road groups. The number one high five is they were like, I can't believe the inlet air temperatures are so low, because we're removing the air, putting it outside of the engine bay where the intercooler is before it comes back into the engine.
Nice.
So we do air to water intakes on other applications. We try to shy away from it if we can, because again, no moving no pumps, no wires, no relays, no coolant on a air to water. Now, does it work? Absolutely. Can you do it properly with an air to air? Yes, absolutely, with no moving parts. Actually, Las Vegas is hot, but for people out there to know how much testing we do, we actually have used the Honda, I don't know if I should say it, but the Honda Proving Grounds down by Death Valley, and the worst day of my job is when we're there and it's 126 base temperature to
and
test
it gets
it
that
out.
hot.
Yep. So we put some stuff through some paces.
How long does it how long did it take your girlfriend to put it in your truck?
She did it in 2 nights. So
Okay.
came home after work. We'd like have a little dinner snack, go down to the garage. I would like day 1 was pretty much taking the alternator off. She took the intake manifold off because you got to replace we give you fuel injectors to replace.
Right.
Spark plugs, we'd like you to gap those down or do like a colder heat range.
Okay.
So she did, in night 1 was alternator gone, intake manifold off, injectors, spark plugs, grill out. It was basically the prep, and then the second day was putting it back together.
Gotcha.
Like mounting the blower, putting the intercooler on, doing the charge tubing, and loading the tune. And it's fantastic.
So if someone were to buy this, they send you the ECU, and you do the tune?
Yep.
The PCM, the ECU, whatever they want to call it?
So you got to unlock the PCM. We give you a handheld device so that once it's been unlocked, if you ever want to put it back to stock, you can put your stock calibration back in it. So you always
But it still has to get sent to you guys to actually do the tune. Gotcha.
Unfortunately, since 2015, all Dodges have to be unlocked. Pre-2015, we can do them remotely.
Gotcha.